As we begin the long road to migrating our software delivery practices from lengthy releases that may take weeks or months and into a continuous delivery system, we have four primary areas of concern. We'll need to evaluate our current processes in these areas and then iteratively improve upon them until we can safely and reasonably improve our delivery velocity. These areas are source control. How do we manage our source control and branching strategies? Do we use source control? Do we have branches that routinely live for weeks at a time? Or do we have very frequent, small, digestible commits into master? Code quality. How do we handle code quality? Do we have automated tests? Do they pass everywhere or just on one engineer's machine? Do we run not only unit and integration tests, but also specialty tests for things like UI, performance, and security? Deployment. How do we handle deployment? Do builds come from an automated pipeline or just from somebody's machine? Are we able to easily deploy individual components, or are we having to push out a monolith every time? Can we sanely roll back a bad change? Finally, monitoring. How do we monitor that code once we've pushed it out for successes and failures? Are we limited to scanning logs? Or do we have metrics and alerts wired in to proactively let us know something has gone wrong? But why these four pillars anyway? Why are they important? So years ago, I joined a particular team on a relatively new product, just in time to help with their second major release. One of the first things I do to acquaint myself with a new code base is to run their unit tests. Well, I ran them, and of the perhaps 80 that existed, only 60 passed. When I asked the manager how this worked with their deployment pipeline, he admitted that not only did they not run tests regularly as a part of the pipeline, but that the pipeline itself often failed. And so he usually deployed critical fixes directly from his development box. And when I asked how he knew if those fixes were working, he admitted that they only monitored by manually calling a few APIs if they had pushed a release out, maybe scanning a few logs. Well, you can only imagine how well that release went a few days later. It started at about 10 a.m. and finished around midnight. The entire engineering team was all hands on deck. There were a number of significant issues, and it was several weeks until they had squashed all of the bugs in production. By then, all of their engineers were exhausted. Following that release, they underwent a significant effort to monitor and modernize their delivery practices. Within a year, that same team had hundreds of automated integration and unit tests, and they ran flawlessly for every change. They had zero intervention build and deployment pipelines. They had an extensive monitoring and alerting platform. And that team was able to routinely ship changes of the same magnitude as that awful release day, sometimes daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And neither their customers nor the engineers ever noticed anything had happened. They were truly able to take control of their code delivery practices.